So today I am going to discuss about fourth module, which is detection and estimation. So this is very important module when for your exam. So this module it is very useful to get the score. So it is a very small module when compared to all other modules. It has very less syllabus, so you can go through it. It is very important that you should not leave this module, and straight forward you will get the question from detection and estimation. So detection and estimation, you already know what is detection and what is estimation in information theory. Detection is nothing but it means to measure the ability to differentiate between information bearing pattern and random patterns. Information bearing patterns means the information which one you are going to transmit it. So that is the information bearing signal, and the random pattern is nothing but AWGN noise, additive white Gaussian noise, which will be added to your communication channel when you are going to transmit your information signal. So what it does, the AWGN channel, it distract the information bearing signal which one you are going to transmit it. Here we discuss about how a detecting system will detect a signal and where its threshold voltage will be. So how to set the VTH voltage, and if the threshold voltage if you change, so it may give you wrong prediction. So in order to avoid that, you need to use a proper threshold voltage in order to receive the symbol which one you have transmitted. And estimation theory, it is nothing but it is a branch of statistics that deals with estimating values of parameters based on measured empirical data that has a random component. An estimator, it attempts to approximate the unknown parameters using the measurements. So different applications are like in signal processing we can use it, and in quality control management we can use the detection and estimation, and in telecommunication we can use it, and control theory, and in orbit determination is nothing but it is the estimation of orbits of objects such as moons, planets, and spacecrafts. Suppose if you want to estimate the position of the newly observed asteroids, so you can use the detection and estimation theory. So it is very important that you must understand the detection, how to detect the transmitted signal, and how to estimate it to get the original information signal which is being transmitted. So when the signal is transmitted over a channel, it is corrupted due to noise, because so many noise which are present in the communication channel, which may corrupt the transmitted signal which one you have transmitted. The receiver then observes the received signal and determines about which symbol was transmitted. This decision is taken with the help of some set of rules. This is called detection of the signal. Means some set of rules, means some set of rules are there to set the your threshold voltage. So depending on the VTH voltage, how to detect the transmitted signal using required receiver. The detection of the signal will be done with the help of, we can use correlators, match filters, and optimum filters can be used to detect your transmitted signal. And the estimation of the signal can be done using linear prediction, adaptive filters, and VNF filters. Now we are going to discuss about a model of digital communication system. So if you look at the model of digital communication system, so it has a transmitter. Basically for any communication system, a transmitter is important, next communication channel is important, and next one is receiver is important. In the case of transmitter, so when you are going to transmit your information bearing signal, you can see that messages which one you are going to transmit it. So it has a mi number of messages, where I varies from 1 to m. I varies from M1 to M. So that messages should be given as input to your transmitter, which is vector transmitter. So vector transmitter, what it does, it clubs n number of messages so that they can be transmitted together, and which can be represented as SI. Then the modulator will be there, so that produces SI of T. If you look at the scheme for generating signal SI of T, so SI, it has different components, SI1 to SIN, where I varies from 1 to M, and J varies from 1 to N. Basically, we can represent this one as SIJ. When this SI1 is multiplied with the signal basis function, that is pi 1 of t, pi 2 of t, and pi n of t. So these are all single basis function. Using this single basis function, when it is multiplied, so pi 1 of t, pi 2 of t, or pi n of t up to pi n of t is nothing but they are carrier signal. It is multiplied with the particular a symbol SI1, SI2, and SIN. When it is combined together, so it generates the transmitted signal, which is SI of T. So there is a message source that emits the messages M1, M2 up to MM, different messages. There are total M number of messages, and the probability of occurrence of these messages, which is equal to 1 by Mi. P of Mi, which is equal to 1 by M for M number of messages. I is equal to 1 to M. So they are equally likely. Probability is equally likely. For suppose if there are 10 message symbols are there, so the probability of that, it will be 1 by 10, probability of each messages. The vector transmitter, what it does, it clubs n number of messages so that they can be transmitted together. So we can represent the vector SI, which is equal to SI1 to SI2 up to SIN, where I is equal to 1 to up to M, and this J varies from 1 to N, and we need to remember here N is always less than or it may equal to M. So when you have transmitted the signal SI of T, so when the signal is traveled through a communication channel, the noise, we can see that AWGN noise can be added to your information signal, and at the receiver signal you are going to detect the signal X of T, so which contains both the information bearing signal and the additive white Gaussian noise at the detector. So next, the modulator constructs the waveform SI of T for the symbol SI. The signal SI of T has finite energy, so which can be represented as the signal energy, the transmitted signal energy can be expressed as EI, which is equal to 0 to T, is 0 to T is nothing but a symbol duration, SI square of T dt, where I varies from 1 to M. The signal is transmitted over a noise channel. So when the signal it is transmitted over a noisy channel, it adds additive white Gaussian noise, and which can be denoted as W of T. We already know this, how to express it. X of T, which is equal to the transmitted signal SI of T plus additive white Gaussian noise W of T. So how to write the equations, we have already studied in the digital modulation techniques. So you can use this summation to produce X of T, where it has two inputs. So one input is the transmitted signal SI of T, so which is transmitted using the transmitter, and AWGN is nothing but additive white Gaussian noise, so which adds to the transmitted signal in the communication channel, and at the receiver you will get the received signal, which is X of T. This X of T, it is one sample value of the received random process, which is capital X of T. Here X of T is nothing but it's the received random process. Then the particular sample function of x of t, we call it as received signal x of t, small letter x of t. This is just one sample value of this received random process x of t. Then the detector process the received signal x of t and produces the observation vector x. The detector, what it does, it receives the signal x of t. Depending on its threshold voltage, it produces the observation vector x, or we also call it as test statistics. Then this test statistics or observation value, it will be given as input to your vector receiver. So then the vector receiver uses the prior knowledge of SI and prior probabilities, its probabilities, and vector X means the observation value or tested statistics value to obtain an estimate M cap of the transmitted signal Mi. When this estimate M cap, if it is not equal to Mi, so it results in error. If it is M cap, if it is equal to Mi, then proper information it is being received. So you can see an error will be introduced when M cap is not equal to Mi. Thus the average probability of symbol error, we can represent it as P is equal to P of M cap not equal to Mi. So Mi is nothing but it is a transmitted symbol, and here M cap, it is nothing but the estimate produced by the vector receiver. So the receiver has the task of observing the received signal x of t for a duration of t seconds, one symbol duration, and it makes best estimate of the transmitted signal Si of t or the symbol Mi. Next, we will look at the geometric representation of signal. So we already know how to draw the signal space diagram for ASK, PSK, and FSK. So with that knowledge, so we will see how to represent the signal. From the signal space diagram or signal space representation, so we can study the probability of error in transmission. So how to evaluate the equation for probability of error in ASK, PSK, FSK, QPSK, we have studied. So we use one signal space diagram of ASK to understand or to represent the signal. So next, from signal space diagram, we can also study the separation between the individual message. So here, if you look at the signal space diagram of ASK, the distance between S1 and S2, we can denote it as D, and the midpoint between the two message points, so which can be denoted as root EB by 2. Here, root EB by 2, it acts as a threshold voltage, so that can be used in the detection system to produce the observation vector or test statistics. If the observation vector falls in the region Z1, then symbol 1 will be received. If the observation vector or test statistics, if it presents or if it lies in the region Z2, then symbol 0 will be received. So this is the single basis functions. We can denote it as pi of t, and it has two message points. The message point 1, it can be denoted root EB, and message points 0, the message point S2, so which is 0, which is indicated as 0. So the distance between two message points, as it increases, then the error it will be reduced. As these two message points approaches near to this origin or midpoint, the error it increases. To avoid the error, the distance between the two message points, it should be large. Next, the signal space or vector space representation is the characteristics of every digital modulation techniques. Let there be m number of signal energy signals which forms the input signal set. So here, if you look at the transmitter diagram, here that Si of t, that is the transmitted signal, so which is equal to S1 of t, comma S2 of t, comma up to Sm of t. Let these signals be represented in terms of n number orthonormal basis functions. So we can represent this one as pi j of t, pi 1 of t, comma pi 2 of t, up to pi n of t, where n is less than or equal to m. The linear relationship between Si of t and pi j of t can be written as Si of t, which is equal to Si1 pi 1 of t plus Si2 pi 2 of t plus dot 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 plus Sin pi n of t. So you can use this diagram in the generation of signal Si of t, which is equal to Si1 into pi 1 of t plus Si2 into pi 2 of t plus Sin into pi n of t, which is equal to Si of t. Right, next here we can straightway we can write this one as j is varying from 1 to n, where I, it may vary from 1 to m, and j it varies from 1 to n. So j is equal to 1 to n, summation of j is equal to 1 to n Si j we can write. Next, pi j of t, where j it varies from 1 to n. So this Sij, suppose if I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 2, we can write this one S12, which is equal to 0 to t, S1 of t into pi 2 of t dt. Here Sij is nothing but it is a coefficient of expansion. So in general equation for Sij, we can write it as Sij is equal to 0 to t Si of t into pi j of t dt, where t is nothing but duration of symbol Si of t, which is the transmitted signal. Since the basis function are orthonormal, they satisfy the following property. Here we already discussed this equation for 0 to t, pi I of t into pi j of t into dt, which is equal to 1 when I is equal to j, it is equal to 1 when both this pi I of t and pi j of t both are orthogonal to each other, then it is equal to 0 for I not equal to j. Further, we can write this equation as when I is equal to j, the above equation we can write it as 0 to t, when I it becomes j, it becomes I, then we can write pi I square of t, which is equal to 1. When both single basis function pi I of t and pi j of t are orthogonal to each other, perpendicular to each other, they cancel each other, and which gives the value 0. Now let us consider the vector space representation of m is equal to 3 message symbol. So here there are 3 message symbols are there. So 3 signals we are going to transmit it using orthonormal basis functions. Hence we can write Si of t, which is equal to j is equal to 1 to 2 Sij of t into pi j of t. Here j it is varying from 1 to 2, where I is equal to 1, 2, 3, because there are three message symbol will be there. For that I you can vary from 1 to 3. Now you substitute j1 to 2. So we can write Si 1 of t into pi 1 of t. Next, for j is equal to 2, we get the second term Si 2 of t into pi 2 of t. Then the three signals we can write it as by varying I from 1 to 3. For I is equal to 1, which is S1 of t. So we can write this one S11 of t into pi 1 of t plus S12 of t into pi 2 of t. Next, S2 of t, which is equal to S21 of t pi 1 of t plus S22 of t pi 2 of t. Next, the third signal we can represent it as, for I is equal to 3, S3 of t, which is equal to S3 1 of t pi 1 of t plus S3 2 of t pi 2 of t. The message vectors S1, S2, S3. So there are three message vectors are there, S1, S2 and S3. The position of these vectors depends on S11, S21, S31, S12, S22 and S32. So if you know the coefficients value, so you can allocate the position of each message vectors, which is S1, S2, S3. This is just one example where I have allocated the three message points with two a single basis function. One is pi1 of t and pi2 of t. Are you able to understand this, dear students? Are you able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
So all of you have understood till now. Shall I continue? Yeah, okay. So next we'll discuss about absolute value or norm of a vector. So we can consider the vector Si, so which can be represented by its coefficients. Si is equal to Si1, Si2 up to Sin. This equation already we have discussed. So the vector transmitter which clubs Si number of messages, Si1, Si2 up to Sin, where I it varies from 1 to m and j it varies from 1 to n. The absolute value, or we also call it as modulus x, modulus of x of a real number x is always positive. It is the distance from 0. It is the distance from 0. The product Si square, we can write it as Si transpose into Si. So Si transpose of Si, we can write it as Si1, Si2, Si3, Sin. So similarly, the Si you write here. Then you do the multiplication and addition which with each element. So here Si1 is multiplied with the column vector Si1, then plus Si2 row vector is multiplied with the column vector. Then you need to perform the addition after multiplication. Next, we can write the equation for this summation j is equal to 1 to n. Here j is varying from 1, 2, 3 up to n. I is a constant. So here yes we can write Sij square. J is equal to 1 to n Si j square, where I is equal to 1 to m. Here we can say Si is called absolute value. This is the symbol which represents the absolute value of Si or norm of a vector Si. So it is basically, it is nothing but the length of the vector. So it can be used to measure the distance from the origin. So SI square is nothing but is the squared length of the vector. Next, we'll discuss about Euclidean distance. So Euclidean distance can be used to measure the distance between two signal vectors, or we can say two signal points. Suppose x comma y, it is representing one point, and a comma b, it is representing the another point. It lies in some other coordinates. Then the distance between those 2 points x comma y and a comma b can be calculated using Euclidean distance. The Euclidean distance can be used to calculate the distance between the two signal vectors, so which can be given as dik is equal to, so absolute or norm of a vector, you can use that symbol. The difference between two signal vectors, one is signal vector Si, and one more signal vector, we can represent it as Sk, and the difference between those two, we can represent it as Si minus Sk. And next, the squared of the Euclidean distance, so we can represent it as Si minus Sk whole square, which is equal to summation j is equal to 1 to n Sij minus Skj whole square, we can write, because here this Si square, we got summation j is equal to 1 to n, j is equal to 1 to n Sij square. Similarly, we can write Si minus Sk square is equal to j is equal to 1 to n Sij minus Skj whole square. Next, the signal energy of the signal, the transmitted signal, which is Si of t, we can write it as 0 to t Si square of t into dt, which is equal to the modulus Si square. Next, the squared length of the vector Si minus Sk square, which is equal to 0 to t. The same thing, you just substitute Si of t minus Sk of t whole square dt. Next, here Ei is equal to, we can write Si square, because we are calculate the distance between the two signals vectors. One is Si and one more is Sk. So if you do the substitution, straight away you can write Si minus Sk whole square, which is equal to 0 to t Si of t minus Sk of t whole square dt. Then suppose if you want to find out the angle between the two signals vectors, so we can represent it as theta ik to find out the angle or the separation between the two signal vectors, which is Si and Sk. So we can represent this one as cos theta ik, which is equal to Si transpose into Sk, next absolute value of Si and absolute value of another signal vector Sk. So when Si transpose into Sk, it becomes 0. When theta ik is equal to 90 degree, then this Si transpose into Sk, it becomes 0, because cos 90 degree is nothing but it is 0. That then the two vectors are orthogonal or perpendicular to each other when theta ik is equal to 90 degree. Then Si transpose into Sk, it becomes equal to 0. Next, we know that this Euclidean distance can be used to measure the distance between 2 points in the plane with coordinates x comma y and a comma b. So the equation can be used to find out the distance between x comma y and a comma b as you can write, which is equal to root of x minus s whole square plus y minus b whole square, two message points. Here x comma y is 2 comma minus 1 and another message point which is a comma b. So its value is minus 2 comma 2, minus 2 comma 2. So this is a comma b and this is x comma y, and this equation can be used to measure the distance between a comma b and x comma y. So x comma y it lies in the fourth quadrant and a comma b it lies in the second quadrant. Now we need to find out the distance between 2 points. So using this equation, you substitute the value of x and y and value of a and b. So after calculating this, you will get 5. So all of you understood? All of you have understood? All of you have entered your ESN number? Yes. So Euclidean distance is over. Next, absolute value or norm of a vector you understood. Next, geometric representation of signals, different signals, both on transmitted signal and the orthonormal basis functions. So pi 1 of t, pi 2 up to pi n of t. Next, model of a digital communication system. So what is detection and estimations? So I think all of you have understood this. Next, relationship between signal energy and its vector. Just go through this, you will understand whatever we have discussed, the absolute value or norm of a vector or Euclidean distance to find out the distance between two message points. So and the model of digital communication systems. So those equations, so how to represent the transmitted signal, how to represent the vector transmitter, the xi, how it clubs the different message symbols. So if you have knowledge of that, you can understand the relationship between signal energy and its vectors. We know that the signal energy of the signal, the transmitted signal, so we can represent this one as A, which is equal to 0 to t si square of t dt. You call this as equation number 1. Next, but equation of si of t in equation 1, you just substitute. So 1 is j is equal to 1 to n sij pi j of t. So one more signal is you can consider sik pi k of t dt. So two signal vectors you have considered and you have substituted in equation 1. So after writing this equation, so you will get this equation. Two summation, one is for j and one more for k. Two signal vectors sij and sik and corresponding that single basis function. So 0 to t pi j of t pi k of t into dt. You call this as equation number 2. Then we know this equation, it is equal to 1 for j is equal to k and it is equal to 0 for j not equal to k. So equation 2 further we can write it as j is equal to 1 to n and k is equal to 1 to n sij into sik. If j is equal to if j is equal to k, it becomes this value, it becomes equal to 1. If j is not equal to k, its value it becomes equal to 0 because both are perpendicular to each other. Next, with j is equal to k, we can write this equation. Next, with k is equal to j, if you substitute here, it becomes Sij square. So here, 2 summation, it has represents the same index. So we can write this one as j is equal to 1 to n Sij square. So this is equal to a squared length of a vector Si square. Then this is nothing but Ei, which is equal to squared length of the vector Si. Then Ei is equal to, we can write it as Si transpose into Si. So we can say signal energy is equal to squared length of the signal vector. The relationship between signal energy and its vectors. All of you have understood. All of you understood this? Dear students, all of you understood this relationship between signal energy and its vector.
Yes, sir.
Then today I will just stop this session. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So tomorrow I will start Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure. This is very important. Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure. Either they will ask the derivation or they will ask the problem on Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization procedure. So all of you must and should attend tomorrow class. It is very important. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. So I'm going to stop this session. Thank you.